What's good, YouTube? And welcome I'm sorry, I can't do it with a straight face. Okay, we just had the create a card poll, right? Here in the TCG, Photon Galaxy, they make a very close second place, and look at the first freaking Legacy support picture on this article. I know the pictures of some of these, so we have a diverse cast with Shaddolls, Lavals. I know none of their effects, but this is so funny to see right out the gate. Oh, another year more Photon and Galaxy stuff when we just fought so hard to get them and people were crying about it. Here you go, served on a silver platter right back to you. But Selection 10, I believe, is a pack that's replacing Link Vrains pack, if I'm not mistaken. So we don't need everything for Legacy support to be Link-based anymore. We can go all over the place with Master Rule 5, and so we're going to get a lot of different Legacy updates through this. And it says, DT continues with Neff Shaddolls Genius. It kind of looks like a Squamata unraveling almost here. Earth Machine flip effect. Wait, Earth Machine. That's Cliffort Genius, right? That's going, I know I was a little slow getting to the Genius part, but that's Cliffort Genius, I believe. So this is an Earth Machine flip effect monster. Should be interesting typing for Shekanaga, and it's a level 4 1800/1000, even similar stats to Squaw. You can only use one of this card's name's first or second effects per turn, and only once that turn. Flip, you can target a Shaddolls monster you control. This turn it is unaffected by monster effects while face up on the field, except its own. Okay, so I guess there's cards in Shaddolls that would help you flip up during your opponent's turn, help your Winda become even harder to destroy, force them into the battle phase to take care of it. That makes a lot of sense, but we're not looking usually for the flip effect. It's still an interesting one. If this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, the famous words for a Shaddolls card, you can target one effect monster on the field. It cannot activate its effects on the field the rest of the turn. So that's not negation, but that's still huge for Shaddolls because you can quick make a construct. Well, it's an Earth Shaddolls, so your other card needs to be like, it's still, okay, so how many copies of this would you realistically play? Shaddolls were just on top recently in the metagame. You now get something that stuffs them from activating, but anything that's a quick effect, anything that would be able to chain to it, or anything with an on-summon effect's not going to get stuffed by this. It's still a really cool piece for Shaddolls. I'm just questioning how many you would play, but off the bat, it's still a really cool card and creation that could help them and be a tool for them in general. We have Hell Shaddolls Void, another Shaddolls, a Fire Fiend flip effect, level 9 2900, so it's not a fusion at 2900 level 9. You can only use this card's names first or second effects once per turn, and only once that turn. Like, oh man, I need to reread it, but wouldn't World Legacy Monstrosity or something like that perhaps help this? Flip, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, send one Shaddolls monster with the same attribute from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, banish the target. So if it's set, flips up, it's target banishing and also some advantage back from the fusion that you send depending on what's in your graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, so that could include its own typing, you can send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to the number of different original attributes on the field. Top of deck specifically, so you would have to like order it or know what's going on. Very weird piece of Shaddolls support here. Gristia's always been a weird fusion to me that's been decent and has been teched in formats. I wonder how this one will go over. So if it's sent by Shaddolls fusion, you can then mill from your deck. It's an interesting one for sure. Galaxy Eyes Cipher EX Dragon. What are we, Pokemon now? EX, but there it is, Galaxy Eyes, but it's also a Cipher. Okay. Light Dragon Xyz effect, rank 10, attack 4000, defense 3000, a big boy, 2 level 10 monsters. It's a, I assume Xyz here. Yeah, it's Xyz. I said that already. Once per turn, you can also Xyz summon Galaxy Eyes Cipher EX Dragon using a Cipher Dragon monster you control as a material. So very easy to do with 2 8s. You can detach 2 materials from this card. Your opponent cannot target light monsters you control with a card effect until the end of the turn. So targeting protection on your light monsters the entire turn. That's kind of interesting. Once per turn, during your standby phase, You can return one rank 9 or lower Dragon Xyz monster from your graveyard to the extra deck, then special summon that monster from your extra deck by using this card as a material. Whoa, okay. It has to already be in the graveyard because it says you return the rank 9, right? So I assume, like, there's a colon here, and that's a very interesting wording. This is treated as an Xyz summon, transfer the material. So you could, like, maybe do some soft loop here, because you can detach, automatically get it in the graveyard, then, well, that's a standby phase, so it's gonna be a while to do that. It's still interesting. I know I'm saying interesting a lot. These aren't overpowered effects or anything insanely crazy so far, bringing something to the next level, but everything seems relatively balanced and not off the hinges. Laval Archer is a fire pyro effect monster at level 4, 1000/200. You can only use this card's name's second effect once per turn. If this card is normal summoned, so not just summoned anyway, normal summoned, you can activate this effect. During the main phase this turn, you can normal summon a Laval monster in addition to your normal summoner set. That's pretty good for any deck, so it's kind of like that Evil Swarm caster. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target a fire monster you control. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except fire monsters. Also destroy the target, and if you do, special summon this card in defense, but banish it when it leaves the field. So it has recursion, and it also has an enabling effect. That's pretty superior for decks, but it doesn't take Laval to the next crazy level or anything. Maybe this guy does. This is a Lavals Salamander, a fire dragon synchro effect, level 7, 2600, 200, 1 tuner +1 plus non-tuner fire monsters. So level 7 is a pretty good level in general. You can use this card's name's first effect once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, you can draw 2 cards, then send 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard, including at least 1 fire monster, or if you don't have a fire monster in your hand, reveal your entire hand and shuffle it into the deck. They just said you don't even get to put that in the graveyard. You better have a fire monster on resolution. Once per turn, you can banish a fire monster from your graveyard. Change face-up monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense, up to the number of Laval monsters you control. Ah, yes, here in 2020, turning those face-up Link monsters. Yeah, that's not going to be happening. So, Link monsters are still super relevant to the game right now. I don't feel like this breaks any barriers that deck had. It's decent support. So, like, this is decent. This is a superior starter / extender card. This is just another rank toolbox for Galaxy Eyes / Cipher. You have Shaddolls almost being the most interesting focal point here, because that's a deck that recently was in the metagame and was doing somewhat good. Overall, Selection 10, doing okay. I wouldn't say this is going to sell anything crazily like the Link Vrains pack promos did, so where this will be imported, will we get our own pack? Probably not. Will it be sprinkled between different sets? Probably. That's how Konami has shown they work through the past, but I wonder what else will be in the set. It's a decent start, but nothing I'm going, Pog, you crazy broken over. It's pretty nice. Also, I wanted to go over the ice barrier reveals I haven't covered on the channel yet. I do believe I looked through these on a live stream. We have General Wayne of the Ice Barrier, a water warrior effect, level 5, 2100/400. You can only use this card's first and second effects once per turn each. If your opponent controls a monster and you control an ice barrier monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, so something that would encourage giving your opponent monster would help you enable this more. If this card is normal or special, you can add any ice barrier spell or trap from your deck to your hand. They do have a kind of rota for all ice barrier cards, and then any spell / trap sent from the field to your opponent's graveyard is banished instead. So they're not going to get those pesky graveyard effects of a lot of their cards that would get bonuses. Also, the calm after the ice barrier storms, these 2 cards, yeah, keep going back to Hidden Arsenal. These are in the structure deck for ice barriers, not to be confused with the set we just talked about. You can only use this card's first and second effects once per turn each. Tribute any number of ice barrier monsters, special summon the same number of level 4 or lower ice barrier monsters with different names from each other from your deck. So you can make Toad a little bit easier now. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of your ice barrier monsters that's banished or in the graveyard, add it to your hand. So not only is it a tag out into anything you want and continue to stun or get extra effects, but it is recursion later if you have been through the grind game, which I'm guessing the ice barriers usually will be, despite their boss monsters. Also, the level 5 special summon isn't bad as a going second option. But I assume Ice Barriers are still going to, well, the new Synchro actually also likes going second, because if you negate it, you go into Trish, you do other things. So, like, it kind of punishes, yeah, this is starting to look a bit like a going second deck a bit, isn't it? There you have it, though. Some pretty decent reveals. I was going to say crazy out of habit, but these really feel like decent. Am I underplaying this? Let me know in the comment section down below. Everything feels kind of nice. Like, that's okay. Is there more? What's going to sell this? Like, that's what I'm feeling. Like, cool legacy support, bro, but where's the goods? Maybe I'm too used to power creep Yu-Gi-Oh! Please subscribe if you haven't already. If you're buying any cards after seeing the support and just seeing the table 500 IQ plays that I'm not seeing off the bat, please use that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. Shaddolls relatively budget for their core thanks to that structure deck, of course.